When I started working on this documentary, I had never heard of Judy Chicago and had given little thought to issues of feminism or feminist art. Well, I did have a job interview once and was asked, "So tell us, Susie, are you a feminist? A feminist?" I didn't take that job. Anyway, now I'm a producer at Indiana University, where I make videos and TV programs for a variety of clients. My job on this project was to document Judy Chicago's semester as a visiting professor and to explore the subject of feminist art. As I would with any project, I quickly tried to learn as much about the subject as I could. I found out about Judy's pivotal role in the feminist art movement and about her most famous works, such as The Dinner Party or the Holocaust Project. One of the people I talked to was Edward Lucy Smith, an art historian who wrote a monograph about Judy and also collaborated with her on a book about women in art.
Judy Chicago is really a very important artist. I think she belongs to a very specific American tradition. That's why my forthcoming book about her is called Judy Chicago, An American Vision. And I think the sort of artist in the past you can compare it to is someone like Thomas Hart Benton. That is, she's a public artist. She's an artist who is a moralist. She's an artist who tries to jump over the elite situation and reach a broad public.
Why have things around that aren't important? I mean, we live in a culture of garbage generally that doesn't communicate any kind of value system at all. And I think it's important that art, which is always being called kind of above it all and uplifting and so forth, also be one of the things that contributes to the world, rather than just being something like a sofa or something on the wall or whatever. Right. I mean, the idea is not to decorate the world, but to participate in it.
That is Lucy Lepard. She's a writer and art critic, and like Judy, has an activist view of art. She also doesn't much like television, with its appetite for sound bites and for simplifying issues.
I'm a writer. I like to write about things. So whatever I say in the catalog is what I really think about it all. So.
Back to Judy. Like most people, I was curious about her last name. I learned that she adopted it because
after 10 years of struggling with what was a really macho scene, I decided, and trying to sort of act like a guy, I decided I wasn't going to do that anymore. So I decided I might as well try and be myself. So I just symbolized that by changing my name. Sort of a way of inventing myself. Inventing who I wanted to be, right, as opposed to who I was expected to be.
One thing you'll notice right away about Judy is that she's a formidable intellectual. She has written numerous books and can take on any debate.
We cannot assume that these notions just exist sort of out there in the world. Same thing with these
artistic... Are you
artistic...
arguing for a personal responsibility for every artist, every critic, every art curator?
I'm arguing for consciousness. Consciousness.
Is there room?
And to denial. There's a level of denial that's practiced in the art world. That's what I'm arguing about. Fine. It's perfectly fine to do whatever you want. Just don't pretend.
So the context is...
Judy has a way of getting to the heart of a matter immediately, of honing in on unquestioned assumptions.
Guilt is an inhibiting factor.
Do you think, or do you think it makes us do things, makes us work harder to get past those things and to improve ourselves?
I don't think... Why? Do you feel guilty? Is that what you're asking me?
No, but I could see how someday I will. I want to be a physician, and I also want a family. And I know that at some point I'm going to feel a lot of guilt. I mean, I know that's inevitable. My mother did it. I'm going to do it. It's part of...
Well, why should you have to feel guilty for that?
Because I want to be the best of both.
So what? So what's wrong with that? Will your husband feel guilty?
Well, actually, I think he will. To some
Really?
extent.
Well...
I mean, I'm assuming the man I choose will be,
Will feel guilty too? Really? Well, then you'll both be miserable.
While she was at Indiana University, Judy taught 2 classes. One, a seminar on feminist art, the other, a studio class designed for advanced art students.
It's so
Although we taped a few sessions of the seminar class, I wanted to focus on the studio class. For one, I could relate closely to the studio artists because we had similar purposes, creating a project that communicated ideas visually. There even was a student who made a video as a class project. The more important reason was that Judy is first and foremost a creative artist. The studio class would bring both artistic and intellectual issues to the fore, and it would give me a great variety of visuals to illustrate Judy's teaching approach. The students and Judy decided to give us a go. This is Sarah, who ran the camera. I did the audio work myself to minimize the size of the crew.